So what gym equipment should I use once I go to the gym? Now that's a good question, and it gets very confusing because in most commercial gyms there are a lot of extra stuff that look fancy and inviting, but frankly you're looking at them and the good news is those fancy equipment most of the time not very good for you. You don't need to touch them whatsoever. But there are some basic equipment you should really get to know a little bit better. So let's check out today. What are the equipment that you should definitely use and what are the equipment that you probably want to stay away from? Now these are the kind of equipment that you want to use at the gym. Dumbbells. They are the best, they are the simplest, most ancient equipment. Probably weights that you can add to your body. So when you pick up a pair of dumbbells, you need to stabilize them in 3 dimensions, right? You need to work with them just like as if you would do anything that you move in nature. Dumbbells behave like real life natural objects. You need to learn how to control them. So they're great. They're forcing you to stabilize and move in 3 different dimensions, which is perfect for your body. That's how we are wired to exist. Now this gym is set up really well. All of the necessary stuff is here, so I can show you everything that needs to be shown. We do have some equipment, which commercial gyms also have. We use those for rehab situations, but most gyms don't use them for rehab. They use them for sales techniques, because fancy equipment sells membership. But the fancy stuff is actually what you need the least. What are the equipment that you should shy away from? If you look at something like this, classic leg press machine, where you're bolted to the ground, there's a giant equipment here. You do not need to use any kind of balance when you're doing this. You're pushing something away from yourself. Essentially, all you do is a squat, but you don't use your body weight, you're using artificial weight in a fixed plane. But the machine is really doing a lot of the work. There are some people who are not able to squat down. If you are very old or you have some significant injuries, you want to start reconditioning your body, you can't handle your body weight. For those people, there is a place for this kind of equipment. But if you're able to go to the bathroom, squat down, sit down, and stand back up, this kind of machinery is really not going to do too much for your nervous system. Unless it's a rehab situation, using something where you don't need to use your balance whatsoever, it is very suboptimal for your body and for your nervous system. Another very good and basic equipment to use is barbells. These are basically these straight bars. They require you to work hard. You can use them in many different ways. I would highly recommend, besides dumbbells, to use barbells when you have a chance as added resistance to your body weight. And the other sort of equipment you want to be careful with, the ones that have a fixed axis of rotation. For example, this machinery. What I mean by that, if you take a look, my knee by itself is the only thing that hinges, right? So there's only one joint that is working here, this given moment. When would that ever happen in a real life situation, out in nature, or anything that the human being meant to do, that one single joint works alone? That doesn't ever work. When you squat down, your ankle, your knee, your hip, your lower back, they're all working together. So unless you're a bodybuilder or it's a very specific rehab situation, there is no real reason doing isolation type of exercises. All you're doing is messing up the neurological, finely tuned programs that goes from your brain to your body and from your body to your brain. Your nervous system itself is not meant to work segments in isolation. The whole system meant to work together. So when you go to a gym, try to stay away from these single axis type of machineries. Cable units. Now the cool thing about a cable that it also provides you 3 different dimensional exercises. The force you're going to work against can come from many different angles. And now the force is coming from the side. It provides a huge variety of exercise potentials. Cables are great. 3-dimensional, you need to stabilize it, you need to use your balance. Cables are thumbs up. And there are the equipment that are helping you to use your body weight slightly differently, aid you in lifting yourself up. Let's say most people are not able to perform a chin-up. Pulling yourself up, it's something that's very, very, very good for your body. Chin-up itself is probably the #1 best exercise you can do for your upper extremity, your upper body. This piece of equipment helps you with that. There's a pad over here which aids my body to lift myself up. This kind of chin-up and dip assisting equipment are also thumbs up. And one other equipment you can use is a ball. Some call it physio ball, some call it Swiss ball. There's a lot of different exercises you can do with a Swiss ball. It does take some education. This is one of those equipment that you want to look into how to use a little bit more than anything else. It requires stability, balance, coordination. Most gyms these days have Swiss balls. Every single gym has good equipment. Dumbbells, barbells, cable units, bodyweight assisting equipment, Swiss balls. Every single gym these days probably can find those equipment. Don't get caught up in the idea of fancy gym equipment. Focus on the basics, because the basics are everything. Guys, thank you so much for checking this episode out. I'm sure there are a lot of people who will disagree with me on these statements that I made here. Please don't forget, click like. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Make some comments below so I can address those questions and those comments in some episode in the future. Bye.